Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I have a guest on from the Troup County School System, so stay tuned for my interview coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with the new, I shall say, Director of the Public Relations from the Troup County School System, Miss Irisha Goodman. Irisha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, and I say new because I understand that next month will be your 1 year anniversary. 1 year
anniversary went by so fast. So yes, exactly 1 year. September 19th.
Know the date.
September 19th on a Monday will be my 1 year anniversary here in Troup County and Troup County School System.
Well, very good.
Yes.
And you know, of course, I know your predecessor and awesome time with her sitting down.
She was wonderful.
A great personality, much like yourself. Yes. She came from a reporting background.
Yes.
And I think it's just a natural fit for you all. But before we get started, Irisha, if you don't mind, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, like I said, I've been here almost a year. I moved here to Troup County from Virginia. I was in Southwest Virginia, Roanoke, in the mountains for about 4 years.
Okay.
And I was a TV news journalist there at one of the local news stations, which was great. And so once I decided to get out of journalism, I did marketing and social media and public relations for the local housing authority there. So which was a great setup for this position. But before Virginia, I actually lived in Columbus, Georgia, and also Albany, Georgia, and worked at TV news stations there. And before that, my production career started in Mobile, Alabama. So altogether, I did broadcasting for 10 years, and it's been great. My family is based in Mobile. And like I told you earlier, the home of Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, that's right.
The best gumbo, the best seafood, and so that's considered my home, even though I'm a military brat, born in New Orleans, lived in Texas and Miami, but Mobile is home for me. Yes,
absolutely great. And you say moved around a bit, and we're gonna come back to the gumbo and stuff.
Okay.
You were telling me before we came on, there's an ingredient that you don't put in yours that I really like. The fact, Well, you are the Director of Public Relations. Talk a little bit about your role, if you don't mind.
So it covers a lot of things: public relations, social media, crisis communications, just making sure we tell those stories, those good stories, and sometimes the bad stories of Troup County School System. We have so many wonderful things going on, so many wonderful educators. So my job is to make sure people in the community understands what's going on in the school system in the best way possible. Working with the media, sitting on boards, and just making sure people know what we're all about.
Absolutely, and you know, it's so important. I think outside of the hospital, the Troup County School System might be one of the next largest employers.
Yes, I believe it's the second largest. Yes,
that's
sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So we talk about that, and we talk about educating the future, our kids. Let's jump in talking about the start of the school year. How has that been?
Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. Very positive. There was lots of enthusiasm, mainly because we had our first in-person back to school kickoff. And we hadn't had that since 2019. Obviously with COVID, it was canceled the last 2 years. So a few days before school started on a Friday this year. That Tuesday we had our back to school kickoff at LaGrange High School, and we invited all 20 of our schools to come in with the principals, and each school had a cheer and a chant that they wanted to perform, and we just talked about the goals for the upcoming school year. And we also had students from each school to kind of ask them, what are your hopes and dreams for the upcoming school year? So we started from pre-K all the way to a 12th grader, and it was wonderful to see the change in response. So the kindergarten may say, meeting my teacher. That's my hopes and dreams, or learning how to read. But by the time we got to that senior, it was all about, I want to be valedictorian. you know, or have all these scholarships, or I'm going to participate in the IB program at LaGrange High School. So this year is a different tone, a very positive tone. People are looking forward to getting back to rigorous curriculum, you know, trying to put COVID behind us a little bit more, trying to put that on the back burner and focusing more on educating our students and making sure our employees are equipped to do that as well.
Absolutely. A lot of great things, you know, I'm just thinking about the gamut. You went from kindergarten all the way to the 12th grader. So I'm sure in between those ideas just ranged as the ages range and the maturity levels range. But like you're saying, wanting to be valedictorian, getting, you know, scholarships to go off to college, or just learning to read.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's such a, you know, the teachers and you all have such an important role in forming and shaping the minds of our young doctors, lawyers, television personalities. All of those things are in those classrooms that you all are in charge of. And let's just talk about in the classroom, because you said this is our first in-person back to school event since 2019. How are we dealing with, because I know thankfully the numbers not quite as high as they have been, but we do know that the numbers are still out there. How are you all dealing with COVID-19 and students that may not necessarily have that comfortability level just yet? How's that being handled?
Absolutely. Well, we are still having virtual learning for some of those students who decide to go that route. Not as many students as the previous 2 years, but we still have that option for secondary and also elementary level. Also, our numbers are not as high as we thought they were going to be. Less than 100 students right now are positive for COVID. So we're just monitoring all those numbers for all of our schools, and we have a policy in place where if a school hits 1% of their enrollment, we are highly recommending that the principal, you know, ask them to wear a mask. We can't require them to wear a mask because of the governor's law and mandates, but we're just highly recommending that they wear a mask if that school population is over the 1% threshold of COVID positive. So that's what we're doing right now, and those principals, you know, will send out the notices to the students and parents, say, hey, we're at our 1%. We're highly recommending masks. So that's how we're handling it right now, and we started that actual the 1% threshold in the spring as well, January and into the spring, and it's been going well so far. So we are continuing on with that process, but thankfully less than 100 students as of yesterday were positive for COVID. Yes.
Well, very good. That's good. That's
but we monitor that every day, and we send out those numbers, and those numbers are public for people who want to see that. Those numbers are on our website. Very good.
Speaking of information that's public, I have this beautiful design book here that is the strategic plan, Vision 20 through 25. And I think someone close to me is very instrumental in bringing this to fruition here. Talk a little bit about what we have here.
Well, this was definitely a labor of love. You know, I created the book, but the information that is in here was a collaboration of Troup County School System and also our community partners. We had several meetings throughout last year to kind of get everyone together to pretty much do a thought exchange. And so some of the comments that you see in this book, the goals and the values, a lot of this stuff is written by the community. Of what they would like to see for the next 5 years for Troup County School System. So we printed this back in March, April of this year, and we are putting these everywhere, all across the community, Troup County. So they're in Hogansville, they're at West Points, they're here in your building downstairs, at the chamber, visit LaGrange. You're also at the central office, Troup County School System. And it's also on our website, but it gives us everything you need to know. 6 values: connection, equity, achievement, resilience, integrity, and compassion. So basically we're saying there's a place for every kid here in Troup County School System, whether if it's orchestra, sports, CTAE, we have something that everyone can succeed in Troup County School System. So we want everyone to, if you want a free copy, come by and pick it up, or look for it out in the community. And this is just going to guide us over the next 5 years. So we're very proud of this document, and want the community to get on board with our new mission and vision and goals that we have for the next 5 years.
And get involved.
Absolutely.
Get involved, because of the fact that, the school system and then the community will only be as important and as great as the people that are involved with the influencing of our young folks. And I'm looking here at the school board members, I'm looking here at some of the teachers, looking at all the elementary schools, and
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh my God, because I hadn't had children in the school system in quite a long time. And I forget about some of all these various schools. And I heard you mention the number earlier in our conversation. I'm like, wow.
Yes, we have 20 schools all together.
20 schools in our community.
And so in the back of this document, it gives a short description of the school, a picture, and the social media pages, because some people just don't know how the schools became what they are. So it's just a short description. We want people to have that information. Absolutely.
Very good. And they can pick these up at any locations throughout our community or central office.
Central office, yes, sir.
Or look at it on the website.
Or look at it on the website, troup.org.
Troup.org.
Yes.
And you're talking about information and people getting involved. I know that I remember back in my days, I graduated from the original Troup High School, which is on Whitesville Street, and now you have the Troup County Comprehensive High School on Hamilton Road. And back in our days, we had Hogansville, we had West Point, Troup High School, LaGrange High School, and I know that you all are now going through a thought exchange.
Absolutely.
To rename the West Point Elementary School. Yeah,
right now it's just a possibility. So back in June, we had a listening session to kind of get people's thoughts and their reactions on the possible renaming of that school, and that came from the city of West Point approached our school board after Miss Zelma Brock passed away in October 2021. She was an assistant principal at the school about possibly renaming the school after her. And we do have a board policy, before we rename a school, we need to have a listening session or a public hearing. And so we did that back in June just to kind of get some thoughts and ideas, what people were thinking. And we held it in West Point Elementary. And we had some people to show up and give their thoughts, yay or nay. So now we're just taking it a step further. We want everyone, and you don't have to live in the city of West Point to give your thoughts on this. So it's a thought exchange, and it is on our website up until September 9th. Midnight of September 9th. People can go and it's anonymous. Just give us your thoughts. We want your feedback. And this information, will be used to possibly, take into consideration on the next step on what we would like to do as far as the school board. Yes, sir.
Well, very good. Well, Irisha, our time gets by and you're such an articulate guest, and I definitely want to have you come back on.
Absolutely.
Because I know that you are also involved in Leadership Troup. I want, if you don't mind, just give us just a little bit about how that has been. I know you only had one meeting.
One meeting, yes. Yeah. We were introduced, I think it's about 34, 35 of us. We were introduced at the early bird breakfast, chamber breakfast, earlier this month. And so, you fill out an application and you have a couple questions to answer, and, I was selected. So it's like I said, we've only had one meeting so far. It was an introductory meeting to get to know the others that are also part of Leadership Troup. What are the guidelines and what can we, look forward to throughout this whole process up until May. So it's been exciting so far, even though we have not done much yet, but I guess it was exciting for me knowing that I've only been here less than a year. And I think that this is really going to help me understand, Troup County even better. I live here, I work here, and I want to be involved and do what I can to be part of the change here in Troup County.
Very good.
Yes,
I definitely would love to have you come back on, because I too have gone through Leadership Troup, but I've been here for a number of years, so I kind of knew some things. I'd been with the police department, so that gave me a little bit of knowledge and background. But I'd like to hear from a perspective of someone that's been here, like yourself, that's been here a year or a little bit less, and how it kind of opened their eyes about the agencies, the resources that we have here in our community. So definitely want to invite you back. That was a sit-up.
Absolutely.
That was a sit-up.
Part two?
That's right.
Part two.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely want to thank you for being my guest today, Irisha, and definitely want to have you come back.
Yes, sir.
And thank you. And we're going to talk about that gumbo offline.
Oh,
okay?
yes.
All right.
I'll bring you some.
Okay. All right.
We're going to get you down to Mobile, too.
Absolutely. I'll take that trip.
Okay.
Right. I want to thank you once again, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from the Troup County School System. I had on the Director of Public Relations, Ms. Irisha Goodman, as she talked about the kickoff of school year and how great that has gone. Also, she shared with us their vision through 2025 strategic plan. So make sure to get yourself a copy of it, look it over. If you have any questions, I'm sure they'd be happy to entertain those questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed my interview, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.